Hi guys, welcome to an introduction to vaping. Vaping, in my opinion, is the best way to get off of smoking traditional tobacco cigarettes. It is a harm reduction tool and smoking alternative for adults who wish to continue getting the smoking sensation without getting all of the harmful tar, carcinogens, and chemicals found in cigarette smoke. Unbelievably, in cigarette smoke, there's over 4,000 chemicals. Um, and you're inhaling that into your body, and that's not a good thing. So when you switch to electronic cigarettes, this reduces the amount of harmful chemicals going into your body. Electronic cigarettes are a lot less harmful, a lot less toxic than traditional tobacco cigarettes, or at least that's my belief. Vaping utilizes a electronic device known as an electronic cigarette or e-cig, or to some people a personal vaporizer or PV, and an atomizer such as this, which is basically a small coil, an electrical coil that heats up when electricity is put through it and vaporizes the liquid. This is much like a filament in a light bulb. So the electricity passes through it, it glows red hot, and it vaporizes your e-liquid. So what is e-liquid? Well, e-liquid is a liquid made of propylene glycol and or vegetable glycerin, food grade flavorings, and in many cases liquid nicotine. This liquid nicotine comes in varying strengths based on percentage per milliliter or milligrams per milliliter. As an example, you have e-liquid, such as in this tank, and this is an 18 milligram per milliliter concentration, or a medium-high concentration of nicotine. It can go all the way down to just a few milligrams per milliliter, all the way up to about 36 milligrams per milliliter for a very heavy smoker. An electronic cigarette is a very simple device. Uh, it employs a battery, like this, or like this, a switch, an electrical switch, which controls the flow of electricity, and an atomizer. When you screw on your battery and you push the button, the coil heats up and produces vapor. One important thing to note is that electronic cigarettes do not produce smoke. They produce a vapor made up of that propylene glycol and or vegetable glycerin. This reduces a lot of the harmful toxins that are found in cigarette smoke by not creating combustion. Basically what happens is your little coil in it, I'll just get this back out, your little coil in there will heat up just enough to atomize or vaporize the liquid that you have in your tank, cartomizer, or atomizer cartridge. It will heat it up just enough to vaporize it, but not to create combustion. So that's a very important point. There is no combustion occurring, or should not be any combustion occurring, when you're using an electronic cigarette. When choosing an electronic cigarette, there are many different types of devices, all the way down from very small devices that are styled like a cigarette, or ciga-like devices as I like to call them, which employ a small battery and a cartridge, all the way up to large devices that have variable voltage and variable wattage, which allows you to tailor your vape to your preferences. And in the middle you've got devices like this Ego device, which I highly recommend for starting vaping and for on-the-go vaping, which is bigger than a Ciga-like device, has a bigger battery so it will last you longer, and works very well. It's very easy to use. There are many different delivery methods when it comes to electronic cigarettes. You've got tank systems, which is my personal preference. A tank that will hold your e-liquid anywhere from 1 to about 5 milliliters of e-liquid. Um, and it holds it in there. You don't need to refill as often. It works the same with a little atomizer. This one is a top coil unit, so the atomizer coils in the top of it. This one's a bottom coil unit, so if I unscrew it, you actually have a little atomizer head in the bottom. That's what that thing on the top is. So you have a few different choices. You also have the choice of cartomizers, which I personally don't use, but those are basically a little cartridge that have a built-in atomizer in them, but do not have a tank on them. You have tank systems that are carto tank systems. This is not one, but it's very similar. It's got a tank on it and has a cartomizer in the middle of it, a punched or a cartomizer with holes in it to wick up your juice. You also have the choice of using little flavor cartridges with an atomizer, or dripping your e-liquid directly into a little atomizer. So with that method, you'll have to drip a few drops in every few draws. Which isn't as convenient for on the go, but some say it does produce a better flavor. There's a whole new world out there for you to discover with vaping. It's a big change from smoking. It's very similar, but there are quite a few differences in it. One difference is that when you're drawing on an electronic cigarette, you don't take a sharp pull like a sharp quick pull like on a cigarette, but you take a slower, longer draw. Like that to produce vapor. And there are some other differences. It's something that you have to get used to, but you will get used to it very quickly. When you first start using an electronic cigarette, you may find that you have ups and downs. You know, better days, worse days, when you're first starting, where you may be smoking more cigarettes than vaping. Um, and don't worry about this. It's about how many cigarettes you don't smoke, not how many you do end up smoking instead of vaping. Um, you will get used to it, and hopefully over time you'll be able to wean yourself off of cigarettes completely. One thing that I want to tell you is try stuff out and have fun with vaping. It's a very fun hobby. It can be a very fun hobby. There's a huge community out there of vapors who are ready to offer you help, and who are ready to give you their opinions, who are ready to discuss topics and issues, and who are in general ready to support you in your journey to quit smoking. I just want to wish you good luck, and I hope that you're successful in making the switch to vaping and quitting smoking. See you on the next video. Bye.